Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be planning from the 26th of May to the 1st of June in my Archer & Olive notebook, and this week I'm using Spring Bakery, which was the Cyber Monday mystery kit from last year from Plannerface, and this is just these gorgeous kind of almost neon spring colours. It's very bright, very cute, and I decided to pick this kit this week because it was my mum's birthday and I thought that this was like just a nice kind of spring birthday bank holiday sort of kit. So I've got loads to choose from this week, so hopefully I won't have to pop into my stash too much for extra stickers. I have all of my character stickers pulled out in my Plannerface reusable sticker album and my planning notes in front of me. So let's get cracking with the base of this spread. So this week I'm going to try and do 2 Plan With Me's, not upload, but like actually film, because I realised that now that I'm running a week behind, which is really working out for me for like timings and everything, and like having, well, not feeling like I'm rushing to get everything done. But I realised that I'm going away in next week, or like in a couple days when I'm filming this. And I'm really not going to want to memory plan like the week before I went on holiday when I come back from holiday. So I'm going to try and get 2 filmed this week. So if I start saying like basically the same thing in 2 videos, it's because they were filmed at almost the same time. I've never really been in this situation before because I haven't memory planned like previously, but hopefully I will think of other things to say. I think we'll use these tulips here. Okay, well that's really wonky. Yeah, so this week it was Bank Holiday Monday, it was my mum's birthday, and it was the last week of my like no Monday May, as it was the last week of May. So I had the Monday off for the bank holiday. I just seen my mum the week before for, or the weekend before for her birthday. That May script is from Plannerface, and then this is just some deco from the kit. Yes, this is a pretty chill kind of normal week. On the Monday we went over to like a local like park because there was a little fete that we'd seen. I think we've seen it like a couple years, but we like a couple years running, but we haven't actually been. And it's just like your classic British fete of like just several gazebos trying to hold themselves up against the wind on what was supposed to be a nice weekend, but was actually miserable weather. So we didn't stay for too long, but it was nice to kind of get out of the house. And then I was working 4 days this week, and because I'm going away soon, it was just a lot of like planning for going away and also just relaxing because I've been quite busy recently and I'm really starting to feel very ready for a break. I'll probably mention it more on my next Plan With Me, but like the week that I've just been in, I was entirely like disconnected from work the whole, like since Wednesday. It's like, I'm ready to be on holiday now. I'm really struggling to focus on work. Just trying to power through the last couple of days. And then on the weekend of this week, we went over to Cribs Causeway so that I could look for some shoes that I wanted to buy, and I ended up having to buy them online anyway. And then we went over to our friends on the Sunday to see their new house and have dinner, and it was just a really nice little weekend. It was a little bit short compared to all of my weekends recently, but then also a lot more relaxing because there was no real huge plans. I'm not sure, I think I might, oh, because I've got the sidebar that doesn't go all the way to the bottom, I'm not going to be able to use the 15mm strip, so I will use the washi that came in the kit. The like shorter side of the 15mm strip just isn't quite long enough for the left-hand page if I don't have a sidebar that goes all the way to the bottom of the page. I found that out the hard way a couple Plan With Me's ago. But yeah, this is just a very kind of standard week. I think I mentioned in previous Plan With Me's, I've been trying to like limit myself to only one big thing a month because I was like just adding too much onto my plate. So we have kind of pulled back a bit. Right, I've got loads of full boxes in this kit. I think I want to use a lot of like the baking elements. So let's use these cakes on Monday. And then I don't think I want to use any of these ones. I think I'm just going to go for mostly cakes. Go that one on Saturday. And then that flat lay of cakes on a table on Sunday. Nice. I'll just completely reposition that one because it is super wonky. And then we'll add in the weekend banner. Down the bottom. So that's the base of the spread, and I feel like I am getting much quicker at putting down the base. So let's get into the plans for the week. Okay, so starting on Monday, I'm first going to mark in that it was a bank holiday and then that it was my mum's birthday. So we'll pop the bank holiday in with a chunky little thing, and then there was my mum's birthday in with another chunky little thing. I started off this day doing some editing. I think that would have been from my previous Plan With Me. And then I did some planning for our trip. So Nova planning is going to come up quite a lot in the next couple of weeks because we've been like buying the bits and pieces that we need and getting things just in order. I think I'm going to use this for training this day. So the 2 weeks between like my fun recovery week and now are all very much like not serious. They're just some like, I'm doing some random fun stuff and some like technical work. So it's not too strenuous, although it's been like mentally really strenuous because every time I do like really technical variations, they're really playing on the things I'm not very good at, and then I get frustrated that I'm not doing good. And then in the evening I just played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. That will also be a fairly consistent staple of the next 2 weeks because we were trying to finish our current playthrough before we went away. That's wonky in the other direction. Come on. Okay, there we go. So for it being a bank holiday, I just have a bit of deco from the kit. For my mum's birthday, I have a balloon doodle from the kit. For editing, I have a pastry deco. And then for doing a bit of planning, I just have this music festival doodle from Papershire. For training, I have Dumbbells version 2 and a Snatch custom script from Plannerface. For the Fate, I have some deco from the kit. And then for playing Baldur's Gate with Becca, I realised that the green of like Lottie's hair in the like pastel sheets matches the green in this kit perfectly, so I'm using a lot of that this week. Moving on to Tuesday, I was working from home this day, so I will use a patterned quarter box to mark that in. I didn't really have a lot to, oh, I'm not using that colour though. I didn't really have much going on in the week, like during the weeks or weekdays, so these are going to be a little bit sparse. Typical that the day that I have like, or the week that I've picked a kit that has loads of little things is the week that I don't have much to put in on little things. Well, I do it the weekend, it'll be fine. I'm then going to use an event label to mark in training. And then me and Becca played some Baldur's Gate. Just going to mix it up and use a big swatch for that. And then in the evening, I just watched some YouTube, and I feel like I need to change, if I change the colour of this one again. Patterned quarter box. YouTube binge. Nice. Okay, so for work this week I'm using these spring Lotties because I forgot that I had them and I want to use them up before spring is over and we move into summer. For training I have again Dumbbells version 2 and a clean script from Planaface. And then for gaming I just have a Papershy computer doodle, and for my YouTube binge I have the TV doodle from the kit. Moving on to Wednesday, I was in the office, so I will use a third box. I then had to respond about, like, this is how little I had to mark in today. I had to respond to a message about an appointment I have in a couple weeks. I did some laundry. I think I might do that on a regular little thing. Yeah, did some laundry. And the last thing that I want to mark this day is that I had a lazy evening. And then we'll just pop in playing some Baldur's Gate. So, yeah, this week is going to be, well, the weekday of this week was just kind of very standard, which after like so much stuff going on in May is really why genuinely needed. So most of the icons are from the kit, stick with the Planco and Papershy controller there. Moving on to Thursday, I worked from home, so I'm going to use a quarter box. I have like nothing to mark this day as well. Yay! I did my training after work. And then this day we just played Baldur's Gate, and then I watched Dark History in the evening. So how can we mark this in differently? Let's go for a square box. And then this one. Oh, I wanted purple. Okay, so again, for work I have Lottie. For training I'm marking it in with Dumbbell version 2 and a custom script from Planaface. For gaming this evening I just have some deco. I might add a little bit more deco around that. And then Dark History. Yeah, because there's loads of these little petal pieces. So I can add these around to make that look a little bit less weird. Cute. Okay, Friday I was working in the office. This is where it is going to get a little bit more busy. Oh, the first thing to mark in is that it was my aunt's birthday. Yes, it was my aunt's birthday. And then I was working in the office. And I had to deal with awful traffic on both the way to and from work. So I was late to work and then I was also late home. So when I got home, I just wanted to sit in the garden for a bit because it's actually quite nice weather this day. So pop that in. And then I played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. We just had a nice lazy gaming evening because that day had been a bit rubbish, just with the traffic. So I have cupcake doodle for my cupcake deco from the kit for my aunt's birthday, and then Lottie again. I just have the car doodle from the kit for the traffic being rubbish, and then I have this Lottie for Garden Sunshine. This is actually like a out of office do not disturb Lottie, but I just cut off the words do not disturb. And then a Lottie with a cocktail. I don't have cocktails, I just had wine that evening, but you know what I mean. Okay, moving on to Saturday. This is where we start having actual things to put in. So I started off by doing my memory keeping. And then I got the save the date through for my friend's wedding next year. So I'm marking that in. I then went to team training, and this was a really sweaty session. It was like super hot, and I was doing an exercise where you have no time to even think. So I was like melting in a puddle by the end of it. I then did my May reflection because it was the last day of May. And then I started doing some packing, and by packing I mean like pulling all the stuff out that I wanted to take with me. So let's use this one. Oh, actually I've pulled it up now. So that is for packing. And then we went to Cribbs Causeway to like do a little bit of shopping. And we weren't actually there for too long, so I'll just use a quarter box. And then we went to Nando's for dinner. I was also going to put in that we just had some gaming, did some gaming and had some drinks in the evening, but it's not that important. I put that in every other day. Cool. So for memory planning, I have the planner doodle from the kit. For my friends save the date, I just have some floral deco. For team training, I have vanilla and a team training custom script. For my May reflection, I have the like notebook doodle from the kit. For doing my packing, I have the suitcase doodle from Plannerface. For going shopping, I have a vanilla, I think that's from the spring vanilla sheet. And then, oh actually, I hadn't even pulled out anything for gaming and drinks in the evening, so it's a good thing I didn't want to put it in. And then I ate my body weight in Nando's, so I've got this Lottie with all the junk food around her. I pulled this out and I think it was supposed to go somewhere. So if we move vanilla down, just pop those out there. Cute, very cute. Okay, moving on to Sunday. I woke up and did my usual Sunday reset for the first time in a while, but I don't want to mark it in too big because I've got a lot to mark in this day. So, Sunday reset. I then did some editing, I also then did a little bit of my June monthly. I had completely forgotten to buy a June monthly kit. So I won't have a video for my June monthly because I kind of set it up and started using it, and then the sticker kit came later, and I basically just picked my washi based on the stickers on the website and just hoped that they would actually match. I then did a little bit of online shopping to buy the shoes that I couldn't find at Cribs Causeway. Next, I'm going to mark in big that we visited our friends. If I use this big half box, and then this one, and then finish it up, I think, with a swatch. Okay, so for my Sunday reset, I have the vacuum doodle from the kit. For my editing, I have the laptop doodle. For doing my June monthly, I didn't realise that this was so big, but I have a Papershire vanilla, and then I have just a shopping bag left over from a Planner Face monthly kit for my little bit of shopping. To mark in visiting our friends, I have some deco and the book doodle from the kit. So basically we went over, and then while they were finishing watching the F1, their little girl, who's like 2, or well, almost 2, was just demanding that we read her books, so obviously we had to. I then have Vanilla laying in the grass because we just hung out in their garden, and then we had some dinner. So I've got the knife and fork doodle from the kit. So that's all of my stickers laid down. I'll be back in a second once I've filled out all of these plans. So here's the spread all filled out, and I'm in love with the colours of this kit. I'm so glad I decided to use it for this week because it's just the perfect little spring moment. If you've made it this far, leave me a little cupcake emoji down in the comments. But that is it for this video. If you have any comments or questions, leave them in the comments down below. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!